celebrated. Those who had the sense of that history, also working with that person, did not think increasing from, foreign reserve from point A to point B based on this particular percentage. While it is a wonderful thing, it leaves off some of the factors. And what are these factors? If you, Dr. Worlu, for example, by the way, this is an example so that nobody starts looking at him. You give your wife 200,000 before for monthly upkeep. And after a while, you now increase it to 300 or 400,000. You can say, I have now done better. It used to be 200, now it is 400. If you don't factor in inflation, how much she now buys things in the same market, you would have left out an important part of the economy of your household.
Correct.
So the indifference comes with how this message, while true, is incomplete. It doesn't cover all the ground.
See, Sam, there is no amount of money that we have as a country. And I say this because I know that even on the streets of London and New York, there are still beggars. There are people who don't have shelter, people who don't have food to eat.
Yes, everywhere.
So there's no amount of money that we have that will completely erase the issue of how things affect people one way or the other. But what we're saying is, this is amount. It's a matter of, like the example you gave. We have moved from 200. We were surviving, or maybe not surviving properly with 200. And now have increased it to 1 million, which is 500%. Right? And if you are saying that there is inflation and other things that is making that 1 million not able to buy perhaps what 200 could buy.
Exactly. The 1 million is behaving like 200.
Yeah, it's behaving like 200 or even less.
Yes.
That's a different kettle of fish, but it doesn't remove the fact that there's an improvement, significant.
But it's an important factor in the conversation.
No, I agree. If that's what Nigerians want to say, let them say it. But don't be in denial of the fact of something that is verifiable.
Okay.
And to say that either you don't agree. I listened to some people talk before we started this conversation. So they say they don't agree. Someone says the president is lying. Someone say, it shouldn't be so. Okay. Yeah, we can't be making such statements.
Okay.
So if you ask me, the starting point should be, go back to the promises made. Look at the have a checklist.
Okay.
Right? Determine the decision criteria for pass or fail, like we do in the school. You have grades. And then at the end of the day, if you want to compare, because normally that's where comparison now comes in. This is where things were when I took over, and this is where they are today.
Okay.
Some may have improved, some may not have improved, some may have improved significantly, some not too significantly. And then we are holding a conversation that helps us to make sense of what is happening around us. But if people are just saying this has not happened or that does not happen merely because of the lingering distrust of government, which I have said before is a function of the way that our government and government officials behave, then we are not holding any useful conversation.
Okay, Doctor, we have to take a break. After that, you get to be a part of this conversation, and there'll be more questions for my guest. Stay tuned. made points of President Tinubu's administration. He has outlined his achievements in office over the last 2 years, stating that he has not only improved security, but also expanded the economy. My guest is Dr. Gift Worlu, who's still right here in the studio with me. You're welcome once again, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
So, at what point does the average Nigerian, regardless of data, right? If I'm not even reading something from economists or experts, I may not know the exact data, the 50% and all of that. But how does the average Nigerian rate an administration without having access to the data, just being Nigerian? How should a citizen say, oh, this government is good or bad, is better or worse, based on their experience? Should we be able to use our experience to rate an administration?
I would say yes and no.
Okay, explain.
Now, if you want to assess, let's say, a builder, you look at a number of factors.
Okay.
Is this building coming out from the scratch? Was there an existing building that you are repurposing? Are you bringing down the old building to build a new one? And so on and so forth. You look at those things before you say, okay, we'll be able to achieve this milestone from so time to so time. Now, if you don't do that, then you're likely to assess the builders wrongly, or even that particular builder who is building different things. Maybe when he did from the scratch, he was able to achieve a particular milestone within 1 month. And then now that he's repurposing an old building, you think that it will still take 1 month, and the thing is taking 3 months. And you say this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Right? Now, what we had in Nigeria can be likened to repurposing of an old building. Because Nigeria started long ago. And throughout most of this period, especially during the military rule, a lot of things were destroyed, including our psyche, the way we look at government and governance, including the way government related to us. Because the point must be made that during the time that the military held sway, one of the things that military rulers did, knowing that they lacked popular legitimacy, was to throw at Nigerians what you can call freebies. There were all kinds of programs that looked populist. So maybe you're a worker, and then they just increase your salary without negotiation with the union even, and everybody will be happy. And then, because at that time also we had advantage in terms of oil money. At the time that we had a boom, for example,
we could afford.
Government could afford to do anything, including buying things from abroad and throwing at Nigerians, subsidizing them and all of that. And we continued that for many years and destroyed our economy. Okay. Now, destroyed our people.
Hold on, doctor.
Now, if you become president of Nigeria, one of the first things you want to do is to try to rebuild.
Okay.
First of all, before you begin to talk about delivering. If you start with delivering, then you are just spinning it. You are trying to look good, but you know that underneath, that is just emptiness.
But doctor, if that builder made promises, now it is your building, right? I want to assume that you know the state of the building.
Correct.
And in a bid to win the contract, he tells you, no, Dr. Wall, don't worry. And you are telling him the foundation of this thing, CRCB. See the condition. You are even coming with the technical, and he says, my brother, no be today, nothing we will never do. If it doesn't matter what they used to build your building, we will. So, owing to, you are supposed to hold them accountable because you said that you can deliver within this time frame. You said that you can deliver good governance. You said we are holding you to.
No, Sam. I can tell you that President Tinubu never told you that he would deliver Nigeria in 2 years.
I have the promises.
Okay,
of
let's see.
Tinubu
Read them out. Let's see.
In 2023 presidential campaign, Bola Ahmed Tinubu under APC presented an ambitious agenda titled Renewed Hope 2023 Action Plan
Yes.
for a Better Nigeria. It was close to 100 pages, but it wasn't up to.
Yes.
80-page manifesto. Economic reforms, job creation and youth empowerment, agriculture and food security, power and infrastructure,
Yeah.
security and law enforcement, social services, welfare, oil and gas, governance and federalism. These were the 8, right?
Yes.
And we broke it down here. Now, let me take the part that, of course, affects people, the one that we can see.
Yes.
Job creation, youth empowerment, and then power and infrastructure. If we will take just those 2 sectors, so far so good, Nigerians have not seen what is in this document manifested.
No,
if we're supposed to say,
Sam,
if we're going to say that in 4 years we would at least have 100%, we have not seen 50% in 2 years.
Sam, understand the point I'm making.
Okay.
No president and no politician will come and tell you that. If anybody does so, the person will be lying. Nobody will tell you that they can fix the problem of power in Nigeria in 2 years. Nobody will tell you that. Because the way our country is even run is such that before most people become leaders, they barely have an idea of the level of damage that has been done. So you hear things, people bandit things, and
some
all
of
that,
them have been in the corridors of power
no,
forever
it's not about
now.
it's not about being in the corridor. I've also been in the corridors of power, and some of the things that I know, you don't know.
Dr. Worlu, if you
but
become governor tomorrow morning,
yes,
is it going to be an entirely new experience based on your knowledge?
No,
isn't there a level that you
listen? It won't be, but as you get into office, as you become the Oga Kpatakpata, you have access to information that you didn't have before you became the head.
So does that mean that we should take every aspirant and candidate their
No,
promises with a pinch of salt?
No, they will say things because they want to win election. I even heard some people who were during their campaign. Some people were banding, statistics from China and all kinds of places. And sometimes I laugh because we are running a democracy here. China is not a democracy. So when you want to compare Nigeria to China, it's just for me, you want to win. You think that because people are reading social media and all of those things, and they can see the improvement that is happening in China, that if you promise them or say things that suggest that you have an idea of how things are done in China, that you can replicate it here in Nigeria, that they will vote for you. But that's politics. What I'm talking about is, if we go back to our analogy of a builder, depending on the level of damage, on the state of the old building, no matter how good intentioned you are, you may not be able to deliver that building within the short period that you probably may have promised during your campaign.
But it's not about good intentions. It's about competence. There is a technical soundness I should expect from a professional at that level.
Sam,
that goes beyond intention.
The technical soundness is like this equipment that you have here. It can go bad. Maybe a part of it is bad, and you call a technician to look at it. He tells you, we'll remove this part and replace it. Or I can touch it somehow and and it will be fine again. It could also be that the only way out is to buy a new one. And I'm saying that because of the way things are done in our country, don't forget that the level of transparency is not high. It's not high. We have been in this country where people complain about not having access to the budget. Sometimes you have a situation where even the budget by some administrations are not followed. People develop even master plans that they don't follow. Now, the point I'm making here is that depending on what you as the leader wants to do, if you want to look good, which is not what most people would like to do, let me do something that will count for me, so that maybe I can use it to win election again and all of that. That is what has kept us here. But if you want to say, look, gentlemen, this thing is so bad, we have to look for money to buy a new one. Let's stop beating about the bush, calling in technicians here every now and then to come and work on something that doesn't work. Maybe it works for a few days and then it goes back again. And we keep spending money. And perhaps the money that we have spent trying to fix this thing would have been enough to buy a new one. So let's stop at this point and see whether we can get money to buy a completely new equipment.
Doctor.
That kind of scenario is different.
I have to take calls, but very quickly, what did Bola Ahmed Tinubu do Did he try to look good, or did he try to work? Based on the options you've
given. In my assessment of Tinubu and the things that he has said to us as Nigerians, he is trying to see whether the economy and the system as a whole can be rebuilt to work. Because the system that we had before doesn't work.
Where his promises,
for example, if you look at what the current administration under Tinubu has done with our tax reforms, you will give it to him that he knows where he's going, and we are beginning to see the result of that. What he has done with the naira, for example, there's a measure of stability now. Okay. What he has done with our what's it called now? The GDP and the growth rate in the country is looking up. And these are important indicators and foundation for any economy that will thrive. So otherwise, you will just be beating about the bush, and then by the time you are done, the people will tell you that, well, you tried, but you didn't give us what we wanted. So we need to do as Nigerians is to key into that vision and encourage the government to insist on doing the things that will help us have a solid and resilient economy, and then the other benefits will begin to follow.
It is important that you are a part of this conversation. The numbers to call are 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003. WhatsApp is 080 903 06 416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. You can watch, listen, and engage. I'm certain that you can make your point in 60 seconds. Yes, it might seem like I'm trying to rush you, but it is possible. I have faith in you. Please, in 60 seconds, say what you need to so that we move on. I'm asking your experience based on the 2 years of the Tinubu administration. What have been your biggest challenge and indeed your biggest wins, right? Let's look at it both ways. What are things that you can do now that you couldn't do in previous administrations, and where are you struggling now that you know you had some ease in previous administrations? Call me and tell me. Lugaman from HA. Good evening.
Yeah, Samora.
Good evening.
Lugaman from HA.
You have a minute. Please go ahead.
I agree with this. Yes. Sam Oracle, it's very unfortunate what your guest is saying. Because I don't just understand. Because Tinubu himself was at the corridor of power. He was the leader of APC when Buhari was the president of this country. And he knows the inner out of this country. That is why he said he is coming to fix the Nigeria. And he campaigned, he promises of security, a lot of things. But today, what are we seeing? Disappointment. You're talking about foreign reserve. Is it reflecting on the economy of this country?
It was the president that talked about it. He just reiterated.
I don't even know. You have guessed there. He's talking about, and I want to say that the same day Tinubu was sworn in, was the same day our governor was sworn in. Look at what the governor is doing here in the state. Developing River State. Making sure we feel a part of development in the country. Okay. So for me, this president of Tinubu is the worst thing that can happen to Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lugaman. That's 1 minute. Obed from Stadium Road. Good evening. Obed, are you there? Hello, Obed. Okay, call back if you can. I'm guessing there are problems with your connection. Hi, Sam and guest. Good afternoon. Please tell Bola Ahmed Tinubu Nigerians can only appreciate his achievements by what their money can buy. Okay. Tell Tinubu should ask Nigerians how he's doing, not them and their benefactors praising him. And that's from Goodness. Goodness, I couldn't take all of your message. I apologize. It's long. Sam, greetings. The biggest challenge I and millions of Nigerians have faced under Tinubu's 2 years in office is the unnecessary increase of all commodities in the market and the insecurity confronting the country. There's a big gap in standard of living during Buhari's administration and Tinubu's 2 years in office. During PDP's administration, a crate of egg was 800, but immediately APC took over from PDP. Many children stopped eating egg because their parents could not afford it. The difference is clear between PDP and APC. That's from Thank God. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Sam. Good evening. This is Lawson calling from Yenagua.
Lawson, you have a minute.
Yes, I greet your guest. A very sound man. He's somebody I have followed for a while. You see, Nigeria is a very funny country. Probably maybe because of the long years of military rule, we think that we run a unitary system. That's the thinking of this country. So when you talk about developing this country, immediately when they go to the federal government, because that's what they know. The people don't seem to understand that the current government, the president, look at the amount of money he sending to the state and the local government. Because he believes if Nigeria will truly develop, it will be with the state and the local government. Look at the amount of money governors are now getting. What are they doing with it? For instance, mind you, this fuel subsidy removal, the state and the local are the greatest beneficiaries.
Okay.
And what have they done just in the area of transportation? What have they done to subsidize transport?
Thank you very much. That's 1 minute. Austin from Alo, you have a minute. Okay, I've lost that call. Ida from Akora, 1 minute.
Yeah, my brother.
Good evening.
I achieved well for this Tinubu Administration.
Okay.
In fact, I cannot reach my village in 3 hours. But now 1 hour, 30 minutes, I can get to my village because of the road.
Okay.
It's a quality road. It's only that one I'm commending him for. And the people are talking about subsidy. The governor of Rivers State, Excellency Salim Fobara, are using that subsidy money very, very well. He has not borrowed money from bank. He has done 54 projects without borrowing 1 naira because of this subsidy issue. I want to thank Bola Tinubu. They should fast with the road so that I can be able to go to the village. Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I should have asked what the road is and who constructed. President Tinubu promised us everything in this world in the mix of all the problems we're facing. I'm ashamed that even some lecturers are by making, I think that's busy, you want to say, making excuses for a failed government. That's from Hector Christopher. Okay. My response is based on fact, not fiction. These are the things I do then, but can't do now. I can't afford to pay electricity bill now. I can't buy fuel for generator again. Feeding my family now is difficult, just to mention a few. Okay. Dr. Worlu, the people have spoken. Some are for, others are against. But considering collective experience, I mean, I'm tempted to ask you how you're faring in this administration, but I, to some degree, might already know the answer.
Sam, you know me personally somehow.
Yeah.
And you know that before now, even during the time of Buhari, when things started looking bad, I personally made some decisions about how to survive.
True.
Yes. And I did certain things and I keep doing those things. As I speak with you, before now, I did not used to budget my finances. I used to just get money and spend it and all of that. But now I sit down with my wife and we develop budget. And it works wonders if you can have a budget so you can track where your money is going and all of that.
Okay.
And then you can eliminate certain things.
We're down to seconds.
Yeah. So what I would tell Nigerians is that what Tinubu, I believe, is doing. I'm not Tinubu. I'm not defending Tinubu. I'm only saying that this is what my perception of what he's doing is. Let's rebuild this system. For example, if you can increase your foreign reserves from a certain amount to what it is now, and maybe in another 2 years we can have it doubled, it will be to our advantage.
Okay.
If we can increase the growth rate of our economy, it will be to our advantage. If Nigerians can key into what government is doing instead of dismissing everything that comes from government, they will probably see a lot of opportunities than the failures that they are seeing in what government is doing. So let's be patriotic. Let's follow the government, see what they are doing, and see how we can be part of it and benefit.
Will the 2 years left be enough to fix the country, or will the president need another term?
The 2 years, in my view, will not be enough.
Okay.
And it will be up to Nigerians to decide whether they want him to continue.
Extend the contract.
But whoever comes after him, or even if he has another 4 years, Nigerians must begin to look at the long term, because the damage took many years to cause.
All right.
And it will not take 1 year to fix.
Well, thank you, Dr. Worlu, for your time. It's always wonderful doing this with you.
It's my pleasure, Sam.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
I would come to learn budgeting after this.
Wonderful.